That sounded really rough. That was aggressive.
Yeah, good.
That was aggressive, man. You guys, let's have a good show today.
Here we go.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the pregame show.
Let's go.
Bright and early for you. Before noon. It's still breakfast time. We got Nuggets basketball. We got a good show for you as well today, Dan. We're going to look at the Eastern Conference playoffs. We keep talking about the West playoffs.
We got a great show for you.
Wind's going home. Wind's going
You don't
home.
want to talk about the East playoffs?
No, I don't.
Well, we're talking East playoffs. You better get deal with it. We're also talking about the Cronkies making lots of money. I don't know if you guys have read the news lately, but
Sick,
the
dude.
Cronkies
Good for
have
them.
really, they're in the luxury tax.
That's not
I've
like
heard.
Pennies compared to what they are making in revenue sharing over the last couple of years. And then, of course, we're going to preview the game as well. Nuggets Knicks. Is it a revenge game? I don't know. Help me do that. I got Brendan Vogt. Hey, I just saw you a couple minutes ago.
I sure did. Air horns in the morning. That's kind of like being at the strip club when the sun comes out. You know what I mean?
man.
It's
Well,
like,
I
oh,
don't
this
know.
sucks.
Speaking from experience.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that
Yeah, well, you
what
guys
it
know what I
is?
mean,
What's
right?
that
You have the
like?
chicken wings at
Is it
11.
good? Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. I wouldn't know. I'm happy to be here. Air horns.
You guys suck, man. What's
No,
wrong
I'm
with all of you?
I'm thrilled to be here.
Over here, it's Harry Wind.
It should be illegal to play basketball this early. Absolutely illegal.
Well, it's 1 p.m. on the East Coast. Wind. I don't
That's
know.
still too early.
I don't know if you know that.
That's still
It's 1
very,
p.m. and it was St. Patty's Day last night.
It is too early,
It is
In
man.
New York, in Manhattan, they're going to be
Yeah,
terrible today.
there's no way this game is normal.
Somebody bring in their A game though. This is late. He slept in today relative to usual. It's superstar Dev.
Oh, I feel awesome. Like I feel refreshed. I feel
Yeah.
as if I had IVs through my veins.
Oh, wow!
Shout out.
Shout out Ivy
IV
Nutrition.
nutrition, baby.
So this happens every single year, you guys. I get so excited for March Madness, and you forget what a marathon those first 2 days are. I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
I've been partying, watching March Madness, just having some of the drinks.
You're
down
so
here at the bar.
exhausted you elected to sit over there this morning.
Hey, oh yeah, look at this. We're trying a new little layout. What do you guys think of it?
I don't like it.
Why don't you like it? I don't
ju-
like having to turn my head.
I like this better.
You're Ernie Johnson on Inside the NBA.
Oh man, you know what? That actually is probably why I used to always sit there.
Exactly.
Subconsciously. Now, we have to do a little different.
Now you're Shaq. Say something dumb.
I would have gone out there. I would have given him 40 points, 20 rebounds, 10 assists. All right, Nuggets Knicks. Nuggets lost to the Knicks, and it was so long ago. Is this a revenge game?
Oh, God. No.
You only play them twice, and they beat you in your home building. Not many teams have done that. So does that? I don't know. Is there a little of that, Dev?
Maybe a little bit. I'm not sure. I haven't heard it in a long time. Are people still excited to play in the Garden?
Yeah.
Like that used to be a huge thing.
It
right?
used to be,
people are.
I think it's still. I think it
yes.
is now. You know what it is? Is the Garden has a good crowd, but when they suck, whatever. But now the crowd's good again because Bing Bong.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just can't end it like that. But really, I do think that there's a bit of revenge
man.
narrative. You just want to just get those wins back. Also, it's like a get right season. They just got to win against the Pistons. You're going against a real team now.
Oh, man.
that has playoff at least intentions. So I think that
Yeah.
you just finally get to be real. So more of that.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a revenge game. I just think players get excited to play in the Garden. They do. That's just a thing. Everybody talks about it.
I know, but it's also St. Patty's Day.
I know. It's an
Where's
early
St.
start.
Patty's Day biggest? Boston? Isn't Boston
Yeah,
a big
Boston.
like
Boston.
I never
Irish
thought about
American
that.
New York's
place?
is big, but
But New
Boston's
York-
is different.
So Boston, thankfully they're not there, but still New York could be pretty big too. I mean, St. Patty's Day is one of the sloppiest days of the year. We saw at the bar last night.
There is no
true,
way
yeah.
this game is normal. There is 0% chance this is a normal basketball game that's about to be played.
First quarter shot selection could be legendary.
Yeah. This is not going to be a well
You
played
guys
game.
think that the NBA players really celebrate St. Patrick's Day?
First of all, Dev, the way you said that, nobody celebrates St. Patty's Day. This has nothing to do with St. Patrick or Irish
Yeah.
heritage or anything. It's the drunkest holiday that we have on the calendar.
Yeah.
Again,
you think
yes,
that
I think people
You
can
just
celebrate that.
naturally are prone to drink more on this certain day.
You think
you
not?
can't explain it.
No,
You
I think
you
for
just are.
regular people that go to the bar and they get to indulge, but athletes, they get to do that every single weekend. I think that being in Miami is more than St. Patrick's.
No, I agree with Deb.
Yeah, he's right.
Just the fact that it's yesterday, you don't even know it's St. Patty's Day. You just drink.
It was a Friday night.
It was a
in
Friday
New
night.
York.
But see, to Dev's point, St. Patty's Day is a bar holiday. not a club holiday. I don't know if
No.
the clubs go all out for it. You know what I mean? And I don't know if like
Green
NBA
Jello
players,
shots.
I don't know if NBA players go to the bar. A bar is like a crowded, packed place. You know, a club you can be exclusive. So I guess maybe you're right. Maybe you're right. Athletes, they're not always just like us. What are our game notes for this one, though, there, Harry?
We have a big game note to start things off. Zeke Naji is questionable.
Is this
Sounds
a
like
typo?
he's
Is this
going
a
to be
typo?
available to play.
Is this a typo?
That's what I thought.
It's got to be, right? Like, somebody screwed up. There's
No.
no way they would just randomly on the road make him questionable.
Well, he was supposed to be reevaluated this weekend, so I guess that reevaluation went somewhat
No, he's
well.
fine. Turns out he's fine.
Can you imagine if Zeke Naji saved the season?
There's a 0% chance.
Oh, come on.
Does the season need saving?
Well, I'm saying he comes in and becomes a key piece for the rotation of the playoffs.
Well, that happened to the bench earlier in the
Look,
season.
I mean, the fact is the bench has looked the best that it has all season when Zeke Naji has played. And that, what was it, like a 2-game stretch where they had this defensive, just like defensive get after it,
Yeah.
really muck it up identity. That's the fact. Like the bench looked pretty good when Zeke Naji has played this season. It's the best it's looked all year.
That'd be so wild for him to go straight into playing. Though.
I mean, no, there's no way he plays tonight.
Yeah.
Like I highly doubt he is in the rotation tonight, but seems like he's going to be available.
okay.
So
Cool.
interesting. Didn't think we were getting that this morning.
I mean, for it to happen with this much runway before the postseason is notable. I mean, I think if he was questionable for game 1 of the playoffs, you're like, well, this is not happening.
Right.
But there's enough time. And we were kind of joking about it, but you're right. The KCP stagger, Christian Brown, Zeke Naji bench, they were switching a lot. And let's be real, there's no version of that half-court offense that's been potent. Maybe their best chance at scoring is getting stops and running.
It
So,
is. I think it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like their best chance of scoring is like on the break after getting, a steal or a stop.
Right.
Nikola Jokic has a great suit on this morning. I don't know if you guys saw it.
A little pink. Would you call that?
With the white shoes too.
Salmon.
The white
Salmon?
loafers.
You think that was salmon? I think it was pink.
Maybe I just wanted to say salmon.
Yeah. He's ready to go, it seems like.
Oh, wow.
It seems like he always plays well in the Garden. Look
Is
at that thing.
felt? Do we call that like a? I don't know, man.
We don't
he
know-
looks
we don't
awesome.
know style, guys. Come on.
That is the shoes are the best part. You gotta scroll down to the shoes. He's got the white loafers on.
Oh, he loves the white loafers.
He
these
really
days.
does.
That's
Yeah.
a new go-to.
Guys, the Knicks are having a great season. 41-30. They're coming off 2 straight wins. They beat the Lakers, then they just beat the Trailblazers. Might have figuratively ended the Blazers season. But they're playing well. Like Tom Thibodeau's got these guys playing well. So it should be a good game. I feel like this should be a close competitive game. That being said, it's illegal to play games this early.
I do expect a bit of an ugly game. I mean, sometimes though, an ugly game can that be a Yoke carries everybody game if everybody else is bad? Like, I mean, he's steady. He might have gone to the horse track though. Remember, isn't it New York when he comes to New York that he goes to the horse track?
Yeah, but he goes
Yeah,
off.
he does.
He goes.
That's
he goes
right.
off. He's actually low key on the MSG list of guys who have come in there, and wasn't that like his first 40-point game?
Well, it's
or
funny because he
one of
goes to
them?
the Meadowlands, which are actually in New Jersey.
Yeah, shout out by the way.
Shout out the Meadowlands. But yeah,
that's
this
my
is when
stomping
he
grounds.
typically meets up with Tim Tetrick.
Dude, he's gonna go off. That puts him in a better mood than anything all season. Seeing his friend Timmy T.
Yeah.
What do you think, Dad? You look like you have a take over there.
No, not really much takes. I was just gonna say, if you want to stick with the St. Patrick's theme, he doesn't care about that. Like he's there
That's a
for,
fact,
He's there
actually.
for a completely different thing. So if those guys are, partying or having a drinking day, he's not. He's going to do what he really enjoys. So he comes in and it's just a refresher for him.
Yeah.
I can't believe how much Dev has dismantled this St. Patrick's Day. Everyone's going to play poorly.
I just think everybody's going to play poorly because of how early it is.
It is so
That's
early.
the reason.
I will say this. I mean, I got excited for this game listening to you guys talk because you're right that this is the Garden. There's still something there. And, maybe we're in for a Jokic masterclass tonight. Maybe we're in for an ugly game, but you never know. More importantly, the Nuggets just need to get that, kind of steady the ship a little bit.
They got to get some momentum.
They got to get some momentum. It really, we are getting up against the end of the season here where eventually there's not going to be enough runway for them to have enough feel-good games. So hopefully it starts tonight. Let's look at the East playoffs, though, real quick, guys. Because I think the Eastern, despite what Harrison Wynn thinks, I think the Eastern Conference playoffs have actually gotten pretty interesting. I mean, you've got a handful of teams that are obviously the favorites. You got the 3 teams, the Bucks, the Celtics, 76ers. But then you have a bunch of teams that I think are really capable spoilers. So if we look at the standings, you've got the Bucks, who I think are going to finish with the #1 record. They currently have 20 losses. They're 50-20, whereas the Celtics and 76ers both have 22 losses. To make up 2 games, now they do play head-to-head against all those teams play each other, so there's a chance for each team to just about control their own destiny. But then I look at Boston, who's been the class of the East for the first half of the year.
Yeah, whatever.
They've been a little bit of a struggle bus lately. But I look at the 76ers, who have won 7. Here's my question. I'll start with you, Vogt. Of those 3 teams, I all year have said it's Bucks, Bucks, Bucks. The 76ers and this push they're making lately, is there any chance that they're actually the best team in the East?
I don't know. I don't think best. I think there's a chance they could make the run. There is kind of a really, I don't know, it's a bit lame and NBA Twittery version of analysis, but when I close my eyes, how confident am I that Harden and Embiid are going to do it the right way for 4 straight series, be those guys? I would say it's closer to 0 than 100 for sure, but it's a non-zero chance. I mean, Embiid's been an MVP caliber player, and when you have one of the guys, as Draymond said, you have a chance. And Harden as a second option is a different thing, or 1A, 1B kind of thing in a pick and roll partnership. They have a chance. They have a chance.
The 76ers, Dev, are the 3rd best offense in the NBA, right behind the Nuggets. They might pass the Nuggets based on how
That can't happen.
They can't happen. It would be devastating to me personally. But defensively, they're 6th. They're top 6 in offense and defense, and they're surging right now. I mean, to me, I'm kind of buying the 76ers.
I mean, you have to buy just because of how well Embiid is playing right now. Also, James Harden has finally stepped up, and that was like the real difference maker. Because that's where they're just like pummeling teams with their starters, especially when James Harden is playing well, and then they have a dominant offensive guy. And I mean, he's a two-way guy. But I really do think that they are a team that you have to take serious. I think that the Bucks, they have the best player in the East. They're also playing without guys.
That's a statement.
Chris Middleton is not playing, so like they push him in every now and then. And then Drew Holiday, of course. And then the Celtics are just balanced. They just have a really balanced attack. But the Sixers are playing the best right now, is why it looks so great.
So I look at it, and then you have the Cavs, who I really like.
Me too.
But the first round matchup right now, things can change. The Cavs, Knicks, Nets are all right in order. It looks like the Cavs have 2 games in the loss column up on the Knicks. They'll probably survive that. But the Knicks, Nets, 1 game apart. Denver plays both of them. Denver single-handedly can almost switch the odds there. But I look at that and I go, Cavs-Knicks is a hell of a first-round series. That would be a great first-round series, Wind.
Yeah, I think it would. I would take the Cavs. I'm just not a believer in the Knicks. I'm not.
They're playing so good, though. They've
I
been
know
way better
they
in the
are
back
playing
half.
well. They're playing good defense. I'm just not a believer. I would take the Cavs in that first round series, but I am buying Philly. Like I'm buying the 76ers. They have 2 stars who at this point in the season know how to play with one another. They're really good together. Their offense is incredible. I think I trust their defense too. Like I'm buying Philly. Absolutely.
It's kind of funny that everybody talks about, should Denver have pressure on them this year? They should. There's no question to me they should.
Absolutely.
But Philly might also need to look at it just like that. I mean, James Harden, there's rumors he wants to go back to Houston. Their team, this might be the last.
Speaking of strip clubs in the daylight.
This might be the last time. This might be the last good chance that they have, and I feel like there should be an added pressure for them as well. But as we get down there, Cavs, Knicks, I think is great. Nets, Celtics, I would like to see, in large part because I want to see Heat 76ers. That's the one. Remember the Heat beat the 76ers, what was it, 2 years ago? They beat them?
Yeah.
There's the Jimmy Butler factor.
Jimmy
I
Butler
don't buy
bro.
this Miami Heat team at all.
Absolutely not.
God, no. Yeah.
Except for, to me, it's a little bit Lakers Nuggetsy, where I'm like, should the Lakers win that series? No, like this. But is there a baggage or something, a historical baggage that makes an extra factor? To me, that's what it is with the Heat. They should never beat that team.
Nobody's buying the Heat, but nobody wants to play the Heat in the playoffs. That's what that team is.
Dev, tell me there's at least a chance here.
I think that the Heat own the
Yeah,
Sixers.
they own 'em.
They really own them. It does not matter what it looks like on paper. You have to come out and play. And We know what it's like in the playoffs when they have something to play for. They're a team that just takes it serious. They have a on switch when it truly matters. They have Jimmy Butler, who's just really a dog in every sense of the word.
Yes.
And it just makes it tough for a team. It doesn't matter how great the Sixers are playing. When it matters, that's when they don't play well.
Right.
So I would love to see that. I would love for them to spoil their season.
And then you have Toronto as the only other team. Like you got the Bulls, you got the Wizards. By the way, I didn't realize the Wizards are still in the play-in. So Nuggets play the Wizards coming up on Wednesday of next week, and that'll be a competitive game because they're hanging on up by a thread to their season as well. But I look at that and I go, that's Toronto. The Bulls and Wizards are not coming out of that. Toronto has got some impressive wins lately. They have the makings of a good team in there.
Of course.
They can play well. I don't think that they could challenge a Bucks, but nonetheless, I still just don't think it's a throwaway series. The way if it was a Bulls or a Hawks, that's a throwaway series.
Right, because Toronto's well coached.
Yeah.
They at least have like the horses figuratively.
Right.
You know, like they've got guys. That's been the whole story of Toronto's season. They should be way better than they are.
Right.
Unlike the Nuggets, the Bucks, Celtics, and 76ers are going to be pushed to the very end. And I do think that is going to be interesting to watch because any of those teams could take the 1 seed. And I do think that home court advantage throughout the East will be a major factor in how that playoffs unfolds. Let's go talk about revenue sharing, guys, because ESPN had a report yesterday, Adrian Wojnarowski reporting that the Denver Nuggets, that last year's revenue sharing, which comes from a combination of the tax money that you spend. So tax teams, 50% of that goes into revenue sharing to the teams that were non-tax teams. But then there's also these other things about like how teams make money. That's like all this money goes into a pot, and then a certain percentage of that gets distributed so that the Lakers and Knicks don't make all the money in the NBA and have all of that advantage. They try to share with the smaller markets. Last year, the Warriors had a huge tax bill, you guys, an absurd one. This one even more absurd. But last year, $170 million they paid in taxes.
It's a lot.
That's crazy.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah.
We're talking about the Nuggets being $17 million in the tax. They were $170 million.
That's wild.
That's the thing. It's kind of hard to complain about the run the Warriors are on because
They spend
they're
it.
paying for
Yeah.
it.
over $400 million in revenue sharing last year. And lo and behold, so that gets distributed more heavily to the teams that lose the most money. Who is that? The Indiana Pacers, number 1. Number 2, the Denver Nuggets.
Let's go.
The Cronkies made $35.5 million last year in revenue sharing. And I look at these numbers and I go, this year they're paying, I can't tell if it's 10.5 or 17 million. I can't remember the exact number. I think it's 17 million in tax payments this year. So they are paying half in tax. The tax payment they're making this year, with first time in 10 years, 15 years, we're all talking about, hey, they went into the tax, they did it. It's half what they made last year for not going into the tax.
I remember when I first got here doing some of this research, Stan Kroenke is maybe the master of this.
The best.
Of fielding not the worst team in the league and not a bottom feeder, but somehow getting in on this pool of money at the end of the season. That's going to start to change, right, from this season and going forward. But it's very on brand. Stan is good at this.
Yeah. The Nuggets better pay the tax for the remainder of Nikola Jokic's years in Denver. Like, there's just no excuse.
This is it.
Take that $35 million, bank it, and spread it across however many years you need to, because you just there should be no excuse ever for the Nuggets not to be in the tax in the next however many years Nikola Jokic plays here.
I agree. I mean,
Never.
that's the big takeaway from all of this is it's like the tax. I don't think people realize how much the NBA has changed on this front over the last 5-6 years, where it was like teams going into the tax, they dip a toe into it. They dip a little bit into it. Now you've got Ballmer, who's worth $70 billion, like going into the tax, $100 million. That's nothing. It's literally nothing to him. And this is uncharted territory. And I do agree with you that the result now is that the Cronkies we know are not always going to be in the tax, but they have Jokic for probably 3, 4, 5, maybe more years, but that much. And to me, it's a no-brainer. Like, come on, these payments now are so small relative to the money you're making. And oh, by the way,
they were always small, like that, even relative to the money they're making.
And oh, by the way, why are they not making money? Why are they the team that gets the second biggest percentage of this? It's almost certainly because the altitude deal. Yeah. They're not making money right now because of they're not on television or this or that. So for me, I look at this and I go, The Cronkies, some of this is in a position of their own making, and some of this is you've collected checks for years. This is a no-brainer. Start spending money. The $17 million is almost significantly less impressive now.
Yeah.
When you see that they've been making the money on the other side of this for so long.
Yeah.
All right, Dev. That was all the boring stuff. Let's make some money on this game. What smarter thing to do than to bet on a morning basketball game?
Oh, you
in
could
the
bet on
NBA?
some college basketball teams you've never seen before in your life.
I've been doing that a lot.
Yeah,
Haven't
I'm
been
winning,
doing
too.
well.
Denver comes in this game. They came in as 2-point favorites. Jalen Brunson news came over. They are now underdogs. 1.5 point.
Oh,
underdogs.
Brunson in? Yeah, Brunson
Yeah,
in.
it's as close to a pick 'em as you can get. They're both for money line. They're both in minus. Denver's going to win this game.
Really?
Yeah, they're going to win.
Man, you just love what you've seen from them lately.
Well, I love the fact that we brought up Nikola Jokic in the Garden.
right.
That's serious.
Yeah.
They don't have a guy that could slow him down or beat him. And also on the other end, Randall is their guy. Aaron Gordon, this is a matchup for him. This is where they pay you for. So you have to show up against that type of guy. We know Randall's going to shoot. And while we're talking about Randall shooting,
Oh, no.
he's going to get his over on points.
Aaron Gordon's
There
going
we
to step up
go.
big. Not that big, though.
I do think he will, though. I think that he's going to
He's
slow
gonna
him
shoot
down.
it
Julius
30
Randle will
times.
shoot it 30 times. If you
Yeah.
could just limit that, just make sure that it stays low, Jason Tatum then you're going to be fine. I knew that one would wake you
yeah.
up.
I caught
So
that.
get that in there. Jalen Brunson, this is his first game back in a while. They've been going with Emmanuel quickly. His point total was a little too high for me. I'm going to go under on Jalen Brunson points.
Dev.
I mean, it's his first one back. On Denver side of things.
By the
let's
way, so Zeke Naji is available then. Did you mention that, Win? Because that it's not just that he was questionable, but that he's actually available.
he's available. He's good to go.
Okay.
So I can't wait for the DNP.
Thank you for your service, Tom Sprite. It's been a good run.
So let's just go over straight to steals. A guy that's just been stealing everything that just goes his way. You could put this in the same game parlay, but I really like it is KCP.
Yep.
He got 3 last game. He's just gonna get threes. He's gonna play the passing lanes. This is gonna be a fast-paced game. We're also talking about a sloppy game. That's a guy that's gonna step up. He's gonna get a steal. I also like Jamal. I think he is gonna score in this game. You want to talk about a guy? I don't think a lot of guys really care. I think a lot of guys don't have the ability to care about playing in the Gardens. He can do something about it. He is going to show up. He is going to score the basketball. So let's just do his over as well. I also like his over 2.5 threes. We haven't seen it in a long time. It's time to get right. And then for my lock, it's Nikola Jokic.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
this is a lock.
The points, rebounds, and assists. He's going to have a monster game. We just keep on talking about how he plays in the Garden. A refresher of the season. Maybe this is him just having one of those 40-point games.
What do they
for
know
himself.
that we don't? That this line 43.5?
That's
I think
so
they see,
low.
what is it, Mitchell Robinson?
I mean,
Yeah.
all right.
Wait, finish that sentence, Dev. Finish that.
I'm
It
just
is
saying
what
that's
it is.
that's their idea for it.
What
He's
about
going to
it?
have a
Man,
monster game.
I think the reason Nikola Jokic plays so well in the Garden, like New York, everybody going out the night before an early game, none of that affects him. Like that, I think that's a definite reason why he plays so well in these games. That outside stuff does not affect him in New York.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to do his points, rebounds, and assists over.
All right, should we do a same game parlay here?
Yes.
What are we feeling great about tonight? I always feel good about Michael Porter Jr. threes.
Me too.
I mean, I just
You
always
got
feel
to.
good. Should we take just 2? Let's just do 2.
2.
Let's be modest.
Yeah.
We'll start there. Jamal Murray threes. He's in the Garden as well. How do we feel about Jamal Murray tonight?
It's a great question. It's like the
Man.
$1 million
Not great,
question.
to be
yeah.
honest.
All right. What about Jokic rebounds? Is that where we're going? Or are we going Jokic points?
I would
Actually, you know
go
what? Let's go
everything.
steals. Let's go steals. I
think
feel like
he
Jokic
said
steal
everything.
tonight.
I would go everything. I'm serious.
Let's
like
do.
he,
All right.
yeah.
We're gonna do a Jokic steal. We're gonna do a Jokic assist. Let's get Jokic assists at 8.5. The same game parlay. We're trying to be safe.
I
here.
think it's a triple double for Jokic tonight.
Well, he does need one if he wants
Today.
to finish the season. You know what I mean? So it's a stat.
I know
padding
he's
opportunity.
9.9 assists on the year.
And I think
taking
he knows
8.5.
that. So
And then I'm going to go over to
kidding.
Jokic's points as well. This is a Jokic and MPJ same game parlay. I'm going to go the Jokic points, and I'm going to go modest, 21.5. It's going to get me to 320. So listen to this. Michael Porter, 2 threes. Jokic a steal. Jokic 8.5 assists. Jokic 21.5 points. That gets you to plus 320. I feel like all of those are hitting.
Any Quentin Grimes props?
I'm not throwing them in there, although I do love Quentin Grimes, man. I like Quentin Grimes a lot.
So did the Nuggets.
So did the Nuggets, unfortunately. All right, guys, that does it. We're going to go down. We're going to watch a little March Madness. We're going to watch a lot of Nuggets. And we'll be back. And when we get back, it's going to still be daytime.
Let's go.
We got a super chat that came in. Jose says, at the game today, fellas.
Let's go,
Man,
Jose.
you are first team if you super chat from the arena.
Oh, my God.
You are first team, automatic first team.
Yeah.
All right, hit that like button on the way out.